The wind roared across the cliff when Ethan Hale first walked toward a ruined fort. He had just purchased a place half broken by storms and timed a place the world had forgotten long ago. The wooden beams hung like bent bones, and the walls leaned as if exhausted from standing for too many years, while the Pacific crashed below with a heavy, restless breath. Ethan felt the weight of everything he carried from more pressing against his ribs, but beside him Ranger, his loyal dog, walked with quiet confidence, sniffing the salty air as if he already sensed something deeper hiding beneath the old stones. Ethan had come here to disappear to escape memories that haunted him every night. But as he stepped inside the ruins, he felt something different in the silence, something waiting for him buried under dust and decay. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and broken things becoming whole again, please like, comment, share, and subscribe so more people can hear stories like this. Ethan bought the fort because it was cheap and because he no longer knew where he belonged after losing his closest friend overseas and returning home with wounds that went far beyond the scar on his leg. The world felt too loud, too fast, too demanding, and he needed a place where no one would ask him how he was doing or what he planned next. The listing for the abandoned fort appeared at the right time, almost like fate, offering him a quiet place to rebuild himself. But as he explored the crumbling halls and touched the cold stone walls, he kept feeling a strange vibration under his fingertips, as if the fort had a heartbeat of its own and was holding on to a story no one else had noticed. During the first week, storms hammered the cliffs with violent rain that made the nights feel endless and tense. Ethan listened to the thunder, while Ranger pressed against him whenever old memories clawed their way back into his mind. Mornings brought thick fog that wrapped around the fort like soft ghosts, and Ethan spent hours clearing broken wood, repairing shattered railings, and sweeping away debris. Each day, the uneasy feeling grew stronger, the sense that something important was hidden somewhere close, possibly something buried long before he arrived. He tried to push it away, but the sensation followed him like a shadow. One afternoon, while repairing a walkway, Ranger suddenly froze, stiffened, and barked sharply at a spot near the lowest cliff ledge. Ethan followed and found Ranger pawing at a section of stone that looked uneven. Brushing away moss and dirt, he uncovered metal smooth clean, and nothing like the rusted scraps scattered around the fort. Something fluttered inside him, the same instinct he had felt on missions when danger or discovery lurked just inches away. He kept digging until a large metal panel appeared, carefully fitted into stone as if intentionally hidden. That moment changed everything for him, even before he knew what was behind it. For 2 days, Ethan cleared the area, pulling away stones and scraping hardened layers, until the full outline of a rectangular door appeared. He pressed and pushed until finally the panel shifted, revealing a narrow passage that went deep into the rock. Cold air breathed out from the darkness, carrying a smell he could not name. Ranger whined but stayed close as Ethan stepped into the tunnel, feeling as though the past and present were folding into each other with every step he took downward. The air grew colder, the walls smoother, and the silence heavier. Reaching the end of the passage, Ethan's flashlight revealed a massive underground chamber carved too perfectly to be part of the old fort. Crates were stacked in perfect rows, and metal cases with government seals stood untouched by time. At the far end, a huge steel vault sat like a silent guardian. The sight froze Ethan in place because he recognized the type of vault from his service years, used for transporting highly sensitive materials. The feeling in his chest grew heavier as he approached, knowing whatever lay inside might reshape everything he thought he knew about this forgotten place. Opening the nearest crate, he found gold bars perfectly arranged, untouched, and gleaming under the flashlight. The shock nearly brought him to his knees. Crate after crate held the same thing, solid gold more than he could comprehend. Ranger barked at the large vault, as if urging him forward. Inside that vault, he found sealed documents and a digital lockbox that explained everything. Decades ago, during the Cold War, the government had secretly stored $50 million in gold and classified materials in hidden coastal fortifications meant for emergencies. This site had been completely forgotten, never recovered, and now stood in Ethan's possession. For a long time, Ethan sat in the underground chamber, trying to steady his breathing as the truth settled in. This discovery could change his life forever, but when he looked at the gold, he did not feel greed rising inside him. Instead, he felt purpose breaking through the fog that had followed him for years. He knew the struggles veterans faced when they came home with invisible wounds. He had lived those nights of fear, guilt, and silence. Standing there, he understood that this was not meant to be a treasure for one man, but a chance to build something for many who had been left behind. In the months that followed, Ethan handled everything quietly, making sure the discovery was legally protected and processed. Because the fort was his private property, historical ownership rights placed the entire find under his authority after verification. He rejected news interviews and public attention, choosing instead to focus on a vision he had built in the quiet hours of the night. He began transforming the fort not into a luxurious home, but into a healing center for veterans who had nowhere else to go. He poured the funds into creating shelters, programs, training spaces, therapy rooms, and long-term support systems for struggling soldiers and grieving families. Slowly, the ruins became a sanctuary. Veterans from all over the country arrived carrying emotional and physical scars that ran deep, and Ethan welcomed every one of them. Ranger stayed by the entrance, greeting new arrivals as if he understood their pain. The once broken stone walls became warm with life, laughter, conversation, and hope. Word spread about the mysterious veteran who used an unexpected fortune to breathe meaning into forgotten lives, but Ethan rarely explained the gold. He simply said that life sometimes places a burden in your hands, so you can turn it into something good for others. Please comment below where you think the secret was hiding all these years. Years later, Ethan stood on the cliff with Ranger, now older, to side, watching the sunset paint the sky above the fort that had once been a ruin and now stood glowing with purpose. He felt no anger toward the past, no weight on his shoulders, only a soft gratitude that life had given him a broken place, so he could help mend broken people. The real treasure had never been the gold, but the chance to rebuild himself and countless others through compassion and courage. The wind felt gentler, the sea calmer, and Ethan knew he had finally found peace within walls that had once been collapsing around him. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe so more people can feel the hope and healing in stories like this.